podcast. It is match week 18, in the middle of it, at least at the time of this recording. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on so you get all the new releases. Bless you, X.
Thank you.
And we will go ahead and get started. Today, I'd like to go ahead and start with Liverpool. And I'm done, guys. I'm done with the thinking that they're gonna pull a performance out. I'm done with like predicting that there's it's still Liverpool. It's still in there somewhere. No.
Right.
What's happening? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, yeah, Noodles isn't scoring. Darwin Nunez is just struggling as hard as he possibly can. I get that, but
I think it's the chances converted. No, I think you hit it nail on the head. First off, Noodles isn't scoring. Mane puts these goals in. Salah puts these chances in. It's
even
falling.
Firmino puts these chances
Firmino,
in.
by design, the ball is falling to the wrong man because they believe in him. They've designed it for him. They think he's the one to put it in. So when he keeps missing these chances and hurting not only his own self-esteem, but the club's momentum, the team's momentum in a game, it just, again, it's dominoes. As soon as he misses a chances like that, are you like, as a player, I know it's not supposed to, but there's that piece of you that was like, bro, that could have.
I should have scored.
Yeah.
But it's like 4 games running now. He's had
know.
a ton of those 4 games running. The finish today was great when he was offsides.
The one that doesn't count. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I still think it's a square pegging around hole. It doesn't seem to fit what this Liverpool team is good at. I just I know you said X on the last one, Chelsea wanted to go after him, and truthfully, he's exactly what Chelsea needs, but I don't know if it's just the pressure playing at Liverpool, whatever it might be, but it just doesn't fit. When you had Jota, it fit. What was it? What's his name? Vasquez? No.
Luis Diaz.
It fit. I mean, it fit right away. This does not fit. And I don't know what Klopp's going to do. Me and Jake were joking that, this is the 7-year curse of Klopp. Sure seems like it. They're just not the same Liverpool.
Right. And for balance, I thought the Nunez thing, he doesn't fit. I agree with the 7-year Klopp thing, but I'm going to go with a different direction. And that direction is, one, Brentford was better than them, right? Brentford is tough to beat at home. But two, and I was trying not to be a homer, but I feel City is starting to face a little bit of this issue too. And you brought it up a little bit, X, or Patrick, you may have said it, but they've changed the way they attack, where they use and focus on one guy. Yep. And City is doing that too, which is causing them problems this season. The difference is Haaland scores, mm-hmm. but they're not converting now because other people are not scoring at City. The difference is, if Nunez and Haaland were having if Nunez had the same conversion rate, then Liverpool would be sort of in line and having the same performances as City. They would still be behind Arsenal, because when we get to Arsenal, they are having one of the greatest seasons. I mean, outside of, having an invincible season, one of the greatest seasons ever, because I saw a stat.
Statistically,
everyone's contributing.
Well,
everyone's contributing over at Arsenal. They do not. Nate does not fall on one goal scorer. You're absolutely right. Like, that's what I think. Yeah. Keep going.
And with that, I agree. But I saw a stat, and it said that City this year is only 2 points behind their form from the years before when they won the cup. Well, I mean the league, which means that Arsenal is performing at a level higher than what City and Liverpool have been performing in the previous 3 seasons, which is insane to think about, because they're young and they look dangerous. Now, obviously, we're not going to focus on them. I just wanted point out that part, that there's an issue at Liverpool that seems to be similar at City, but they're better. But I talked to two friends that are Liverpool supporters, and I thought this really mattered. And they had starkly different opinions. One, I said, what's going on? And one was just, he was tired, and he's like, man, they're returning back to who they were, which is kind of funny because who were they, right? But then the other one was looking, and he at no point did he blame Nunez. He just said the whole team, and he blamed the midfield, which is a legitimate thing to blame. And I look at that, and I asked both of them. I said, "Is this stand for Klopp?" One said, "Yeah, I think he needs to go," and the other one was like, "No, it's not Klopp. They got to invest." And I'm like, I don't know if it's the investment. So then I posed the question to the one who said get rid of Klopp, and I'm glad Chelsea guys are on here for this answer. So he's like, "But who replaces him?" And I said, Thomas Tuchel.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? That would be such a beautiful. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna let y'all go on that
I love that.
Well,
Excellent.
I was gonna say, this is the second time that Liverpool has said, "Oh, it's time for Klopp to go." When he originally came in, he struggled to begin with, and then they finally got that rhythm. The thing, though, is the pieces just aren't there for them to get that rhythm. I mean, you got what, Alex Oxlade, oh god,
Chamberlain.
Man, Oxlade-Chamberlain.
yeah, Oxlade Chamberlain. I was like Oxlade Chamber, and it just left me. You've got him starting. You've got him starting matches. He has no business starting right now at Liverpool.
He scored.
I know he scored. But that's kind of the state of Liverpool,
They took
And
Van Dijk off at half.
yeah, I mean, what are they doing? It just doesn't look like it's going to come together like it did previously. Previously, it was like, okay, you could see flashes. Now you just see nothing. They're not even fun to watch anymore. Even though I do not like Liverpool, they were at least fun to watch. Now it's just like watching United.
Oof.
Who has gotten better? I'm gonna give
They
you
have
credit.
gotten better.
You're
You're muted, man. You're muted.
Me?
No, it's me.
Oh.
Do you think that Klopp's getting the same pass that Potter's kind of getting with the injury list that Liverpool's carrying right now?
I could see that. But you also got to remember they're about to go under new ownership too.
Yeah, but their injuries, I mean, they got an $80 million man that's not injured. And that's not Mo Salah.
I just don't, and I've said it since the first time we brought up Liverpool on the podcast. I truly don't think they know what they lost on the field, off the field, in the locker room, in Sadio Mane. I do not think they know what they were dealing with. Like, hindsight's 2020. I think if they could turn back the clock, they re-sign him at all costs.
I think what's interesting is the commentators made a mention about how the Liverpool press of old, was kind of there for a moment against Brentford when they had their little bit of momentum. And we were talking about how they're kind of switching their style. Nunez just isn't that kind of a presser. And I think that some of their players are still in the mindset of this press, but it doesn't really mesh necessarily with this target man style that they're going for with Nunez. And so maybe therein lies some of the confusion, but it's just it's consistent is what's so wild to me, is that they're consistently poor. I thought in the game versus Villa a few games ago that, Villa should have tied that game. They should have come back and tied that game. There was a moment where it was 2-1 and Villa were in the ascendancy. And then we come to the Leicester game. Leicester are such an enigma to me because I don't know how they've won a single game all season.
All season.
And Brendan
season.
Rodgers still has a job.
I don't know how Brendan Rodgers still has a job.
Own goals twice in 6 minutes.
I don't know how Brendan Rodgers still has a job.
I don't understand. Tell me I'll watch the highlights of these own goals.
I saw the own goals. Yeah.
Yes.
They were.
The second one is a better finish than Noodles has pulled off all season.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I don't know.
Liverpool did not deserve this game
No.
at all.
Well, the funny thing is, I thought they were going to lose that one, but I was like, I won't pick that one. But I mean, obviously, they did get outscored, so technically, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on saying they would lose today, and that's because I'm like, and I got caught in it. I was like, it's Liverpool. I got caught in it. I was like, it's Liverpool, and that doesn't exist anymore. But you guys brought up a point that I think is something that we should pay attention to too. These older seasoned managers who have that pedigree of winning, they're not performing right now.
Yep.
They're not. The new young guys are the ones who are performing, and I think that's a big deal.
And I think that's hugely attributed to the build-up, right? They know. I know what I'm going to see when I watch Liverpool play. I know what a Klopp team looks like because I know Klopp. I know what a Pep Guardiola team looks like because I know Pep. And managers that are smart enough to do it and implement and have the squad to work around it or work to the kinks in the armor, and it's working out in some of these games. It's holding them in some of these games.
I would argue that for some of the teams that's true. The David Moyes of the world, you know what you're gonna get. But Pep with this inverted left back, this one, I don't know if I've watched every minute of every City game this season. Well, most of them.
Because you're worried about them.
Of course, obviously. But I mean, did you see them? Did you see the Leeds game? There were moments in that game where City were magnificent, where there was some really good stuff. And as a soccer fan, like, why would you not want to see that? But Pep has, I think, this inverted fullback thing is confusing a lot of teams because there's an extra man in the midfield. We saw it against Leeds with the Connor Lewis was his name.
Rico Lewis.
Yeah, there you go. And then again, he played so well, he got to start again.
4 consecutive games. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they have an overload in the midfield, and then, Haaland is like 2 guys up top. So they have, and I think it's causing people trouble. I think it's causing teams trouble. I just think, I mean, we'll get to City as far as why I think they're struggling a little bit. But I think as far as today goes for Liverpool, you said it earlier, Lewis. Brentford were just better, just straight up.
They're good at home. They have a great record.
Better without Tony, though. That's the crazy thing.
That's how big this win is because like they found out Tony was betting on himself again and decided, you know what? Not today, man. You can't. Nah. I think he still obviously got stretchered off, so still dealing with that. But I thought the guy that come in, his name is Johan Wissa, I don't know how you say it, was fantastic. I thought he was absolutely great.
I think this is an example, though, of managers who have a style and they build towards that style. And I know we'll get to Chelsea here in a little bit, but I think that's one thing that's an issue with Chelsea is that there's no official style, and the team's never been built to that official style. You look at Arsenal with Arteta, there's a style there. You look at Pep, there's a style there. Even Brentford, they've got their own style. And you look at, let's say, Nottingham Forest, they've got talent, but there's no style, there's nothing. So I think what we're seeing specifically this year, one, because of the fixture congestion, but also the lead up to the World Cup, is those teams that actually have organization, have a style, who just keep at it. They, even if they have to put in subs or they have to put another guy in, they don't miss a beat. I mean, you're seeing it with Arsenal right now for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's why the Brightons and Fulhams and Brentfords of the world have had fantastic seasons.
But it makes it weird because for Chelsea, I mean, you wonder. I mean, Brighton has been great, but then you look at what happened at Chelsea, and you're kind of confused on why that's happening. And obviously, it's a personnel thing, but you still think, well, your personnel is better. They don't fit exactly, but they look better. So I don't know. I think that's weird. But I was looking at Liverpool's schedule, they got some tough ones coming up, and I don't know.
Pretty sure
Where they
January's
go.
cool for everybody.
No, but I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking, and I mean, they got the FA Cup, but then they play Brighton at home. They go to Brighton. Then they play Wolves again. So they play Chelsea, and I think Chelsea gets up for teams. So I think Chelsea will be up for them, and I think the manager will be on. I need to make sure I have a job, kind of thing too. And Everton, I mean, you never know in the derby. So and then they play Newcastle, and then right after Newcastle is Real Madrid. I don't know, man.
Ouch.
That's
I don't
rough.
know. I don't know,
rough.
man. I don't know about these next couple of
That
games.
sucks. That's awful. I will say the Merseyside derby has never disappointed. That's all an epic.
Always.
And this season, who knows what Lampard's bringing? You know, we can count that as a segue. What happened?
What the?
What I expected, like after the performance versus Wolves at home for Everton, and they go to the Etihad and pull that
Hold
out.
it. And they hold it.
I think it was interesting. I think I text you guys this because I was busy that day, but I was watching the game, and when they went after, and he didn't go after Haaland, but when Haaland was down in the very first minute, the whole focus of the City team changed because then they were like, because Haaland was pissed for the rest of the game, and he was just trying to run guys over, and that's not his natural play style. He plays with a fire, but he was playing angry. And so he gets the goal, and you can see there was anger in him about it. And then I was watching a guy because I watch several City people do podcasts and stuff, and they said, the issue with City this year, and it's important. If De Bruyne is not bringing it at midfield, no one else does it because they've become in awe of watching him, and they've become in awe of watching Haaland. And so Pep got the lineup. I don't want to call it wrong, but he missed the chance because you start Grealish, and he's not a great wide player. And then you have your the whole team is available now, and he didn't play his best players. And so you think, is he holding them for the Chelsea game, so I don't know. I mean, it wonders how far ahead are they thinking, and it gets weird because I think I give credit to Everton because they played their butts off, and fair play to them, they got a point, and I mean they could have won the game. They could have won it, and I'm a realist. I mean, I expected City to score 3, but once the attitude of the team, they were very not City-like. City is not an angry team; they're a finesse team, and they tried to play angry, and they got them out of their style. And Everton was like, "Great, we can play physical and run up and down the field," and City was completely out of it. They were out of their element, and it was weird because your finesse talisman don't play that way. And so then they threw everything on at the end, and Pep waited until like the 80th minute to make subs. And I'm like, he missed it on that one too. You waited too long to put your guys on. So I credit to Everton. Arsenal is 7 points ahead. Credit to them, and they've been phenomenal. So I'm gonna give Everton credit. I'm not gonna take anything away from them. I think that's fair.
Well, do you not think that Bernardo can sometimes pick up the slack? Like, I mean, I feel like is he getting maybe overlooked, maybe a little bit?
He's not, for the reason he did what he normally does today. He did a presser, and he talked about leaving again, and that's been a huge issue for them because they want it. There's zero reason City would pay him whatever he wants to stay. Like he knows that,
Sure.
and he never dogs it on the field. He gives 100% when he's on the field, but that's like just the gnat in the ear of we don't want to replace this guy, but we're gonna have to replace him. And there's no player that can replace what he does. And so the fact that there's gonna be moments where he's not gonna play at the level. And I think, and I'm being honest, I think at this level where City has won 5 and 6 or something like that, or 4 and 5, something insane. And those days don't exist anymore. And I'm being honest, and I said this to you guys a couple of podcast episodes ago. They're focused on the Champions League, man. I don't know if it's smart, but that's what they want to win. And they're watching Arsenal, and they're like, well, we'll play, and we're close enough. Because, I mean, you got 6 points against Arsenal coming up. Not to say they're going to take them, but they got 6 points that are there to play for. And
Right.
so you look at Arsenal's schedule, they still haven't played Newcastle twice. They haven't played some of the big boys twice yet. And so you're like, so City's like, if we can get our 6 points off of them, a minimum 4, right? Then we'll just let everybody else take points off of them and we're still there. Because City's not worried about who's behind them. I mean, they see them, but they're not worried about them. They're only looking at Arsenal. And so
it's a battle for first. Yeah, it's a battle for first and second between you two, and then third and fourth is a whole different. It's 2 different echelons. There's no battle for third and second.
right.
It's
And
it's 3-4 or 1-2. Those are decided. It's
Correct.
these two. I would say 3 and 4 are probably between 6 teams.
Everton has been, I guess the English phrase, has been a banana skin for City for some time now. Like I've watched several Everton games where City underperform against them all the time. You're like, why Everton? Just
Some
Everton
games
of
would
all
say
teams.
banana skin games.
Banana skin,
They
man.
underestimate him. I mean,
They do it often. You can go back and look at the history of City. They never play at the level of Everton. Matter of fact, John Stones had an excellent game as an Evertonian playing against City, and after that, that's when City went after him.
they signed him. Yeah. I think you may have gotten it right, though. You know, I noticed exactly what you're saying. It was almost a Ruud van Nistelrooy celebration when Haaland scores. The Everton defenders walking past him, and he goes like after him, and I was like, "Whoa!" So maybe they did get a bit rattled.
Well, you know, at several points you guys were chatting. They looked rattled several times.
Yeah.
That's concerning. I mean, you know, I know I said on the last pod that I thought that City had that killer mentality where, you know, they just knew they were better. And then to stub your toe against Everton, I mean, that's concerning. But like you said, the main focus is going to be Arsenal and Champions League. That's what their main focus is going to be.
100%.
So as long as they can chase down Arsenal, they may stub their toe along the way. But all that really matters is can we win the Champions League, and maybe can we win the league too?
So is it attributed? Is it all then just a mental thing? Like, because really, you know, Everton's chances. I think one, they're just a different team with Calvert-Lewin in there. You know, and I think it was City sloppiness really that gave Everton, you know, so much more of the ball than they were. You know, didn't control it as well against Wolves. They had a bit more of the ball because they were, you know, City were a bit sloppier at times, I thought. And then of course, you know, Everton, even though they didn't defend well against Wolves, you can expect a good defensive performance. You would expect a good defensive performance, but you know, they definitely fought like lions. But is it a mentality thing? I mean, are we looking at Pep to say, you know, I mean, I know in this particular game maybe he got a couple of decisions you know, wrong, but you know, I don't know. Is it all mentality?
I think it's mentality real quick. It's mentality because one of the things is, for example, City didn't play with a recognized left back, and they haven't played with one for a while. And Grealish is only good when he can have a player overlap him because it creates space for him. Whenever Ake is over there or whoever's playing on the left side, they don't overlap him, so he's on an island out there, and he's not a winger. So he can't do anything there. So you basically, when you give him the ball, it's dead. It gets sent right back backwards, and they start playing negative football, and they play it back in the middle, and they try to do it again. And there's no overlap, so he can get stuck up there again, so he doesn't create anything. And so you get the argument, well, is Grealish worth it? Should he be on the team? Was he worth 100? No. Is he a good player? Yes. He can play ball, but he's not playing in his correct position. And so if you keep starting him there, and I think, and someone said it, I heard, he's like, City is trying to force success on him because they're going to look bad if he's not good. Because you put 100 million on this guy and he's not. It's not that he's not good. He don't fit there because he has to play in the middle. And who is he taking out? De Bruyne, Silva, Gundogan. Come on, man. He's not taking any of those guys out. So then you don't have anywhere to put him.
Yep.
So I mean, I think this is stubbornness of Pep saying, I need Jack Grealish to be successful.
I will gladly take both of those players, which I would gladly take Grealish and Walker. If you're going to leave him on the bench, if you're going to leave Walker on the bench, I will gladly take Kyle Walker. Are you kidding me?
I think Grealish would be great. I think Grealish would
Man's
be
not
great at
benched
Chelsea.
over at Chelsea. That's all I'm saying. Kyle
Our
Walker, come to
Spurs
Chelsea.
good on Kyle Walker.
Say what? And
The
Son.
Arsenal need
I
me-
want Son, Walker, and Grealish. That'd
You
be
know
awesome.
Daniel Levy's not selling Son to us.
Son
No,
need
he's
to-
not.
Need to
He will
leave that
never,
team. Son and
never.
Kane need to leave that team so fast.
It's not
I'd be demanding. I would buy out my own contract.
Ooh, that's rough.
Done.
Probably smart though at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tottenham, I guess we can make a quick transition and we'll just touch on. Did y'all see Conte's comments
Yes.
after the
Yeah.
He's giving
He's
up.
done. He's done.
Giving up.
He is done.
I love it so much. Like I was giggling with glee during that interview. Oh man. And I think it maybe is a little bit of people are sleeping on Villa. You can't sleep on Unai Emery. You just can't do it. And they look good. They look good.
It was a different team. It's a completely
Yesterday.
different squad than what we saw Stevie G using them as. Because they're not as brute-ish. Like, they're not catching as many cards.
Stevie G just is like, hey, we're a blunt axe. Let's just.
We're
That's
going to
how
hack people.
They played City. They just came in and tried to kick everyone.
Everybody. Yep. But
No,
you saw some tactics here from Villa, and it really paid off. Like you saw the play style. You saw them keep a triangle. You saw them keep space. You saw them play tactically. You saw them play the ball, and it gave Tottenham a problem for a large majority of this match.
I just think you mentioned it earlier, X. You know what you're getting. So and Robbie Musto keeps saying that Spurs have to be desperate to be good. And I mean, it's kind of, and I think finally, I said to myself at this game, I was like, finally, somebody punished them for not, for playing like this kind of seat of the pants style, and it results in Conte throwing the white flag. Like it's just like
Towel.
But you got to think about it. If Conte feels like he can't win there, I don't know if anyone can win there.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone, because he's won everywhere. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
He's won everywhere.
Yo, I would gladly take Conte back. Bring Antonio Conte back. Fire Potter, hire him back.
Oh my God. I think that's a wonderful segue because X is so desperate to see Potter leave that he would take Mickey Mouse as the new coach of Chelsea football.
I would take Goofy. I would take Goofy.
Goofy the dog will come
At this
in
point.
to take over
Yo,
for Graham Potter.
I'm sorry. Whoever is supporting Graham Potter, what we are doing at this club is so bad. There is no execution at this club. You can be nice, you can be their friend, you can be a player's manager. Frankie got results. Tuchel got results. These boys are worth millions and have been trained and bought and have come to a prestigious club that we have built over the last decade to be where it's at. And you come here, you're supposed to instill that into them. Frankie Lampard tried to do that with the club. Everyone hated him for it, but at least he was Chelsea. Tuchel did that at the club. At least he was Chelsea. Conte did that at the club. I love Antonio Conte. That man's spirit for his club, no matter who it is, that is a fired up manager. That's what I love to see. I love Conte.
Yesterday.
But Potter is not that for us. I was against Potter coming in. I'm against Potter now. You cannot drop 10 and 12. You cannot drop 10 out of 12. This early in the season, after a transfer window, I don't care who's hurt. Frankie never dropped 10 out of 12. Tuchel never dropped 10 out of 12. Conte never dropped 10 out of 12. Tell me where the problem is. The players ain't changed. We lost Antonio Rudiger. Are you kidding me? It's that big of a crux in our defense? Never been an issue.
What do you think they said at that meeting today?
Win the next 5. You do not lose or do not drop points against Borussia Dortmund. Or he's
They play City next. But they play City next.
If we drop out of the cup, if we drop out of any other tournament, he's gone. He's gone.
But y'all play them back to back too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do.
Back to back.
I don't know, man. That seems like a toughie.
I am
Yeah.
so against Graham Potter's philosophy at the club. I hate how he plays the guys. I think in the last game or two, he's gotten it somewhat right.
But you know,
just
City, you know that City and Pep are pissed. You know, Haaland's pissed.
Oh yeah.
You know they're coming to the bridge, swinging Molinor for your heads. Like it's coming.
I would tell Thiago Silva to kick that man in the knee so fast. They're both going out on stretchers. Thiago's already on one.
I'm just waiting for somebody
Yes.
during a City game to get struck by lightning.
I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, I think playing at the bridge will matter. I know the Chelsea boys are going to really be about it because I don't know what they did against against Notts
We
Forest.
played
I don't.
down. After we
I
got our
don't know
goal,
what that
we
is.
played so down. We were like, oh, we
Mhm.
got our goal. We win. Cool. Classic Chelsea move. Classic Chelsea move. We played down from the beginning. We went up early. Cost us the game.
There's no way y'all do that against City. There's no way
No,
y'all.
we show up. We show up for
We'll
big
show
games.
up for City. Yeah.
We
They show
for
up.
big
They
games.
do show up for big
Yeah.
games. They do.
We just
Say-
cannot, and it's been our when we lose the league, these are the games. This is why we lose or come in 6th and 7th. We drop point. We can win every top flight game of the season. Do not drop points at the bridge. Take points away from the big guys at home. But we will lose to Bournemouth. We will lose to
Burnley.
Nottingham. We will
Burnley.
stop
Burnley.
it. Stop
Oh,
it. Stop
God.
it. Stop
Just
it.
saying, Burnley.
Stop
Burnley.
it.
You think if City come to the bridge and just boom 4-0 Holland hat trick,
Potter
out?
Done.
Yeah, Potter will be gone at that point.
Done.
I think they would wait until Saturday because you got the FA Cup game on Saturday. I think
I
that
think they let.
I don't think so.
whoever- I think they
So if y'all
hired
just-
the
Really?
water boy to
Oh.
coach the FA Cup, and they're just like, you know what?
really.
It's a dumpster fire.
Wow.
Potter's dude, you
I mean,
cannot tie the worst team in the league. You cannot. Hang on. You
Yeah.
cannot tie the worst team in the league that shouldn't even be here and drop points against them on a week where everyone else ahead of us dropped points. This was the week to get us back on track. You want to be top 4? This was the week to do it.
Mhm.
You do not drop points this week. He's gone. I am so
Now,
done with him. I'm
and now
so done.
just leapfrogged you.
I will say this. I didn't think that Potter
you know
would
what?
go.
Sorry, Patrick. You know
you're
what? Tell Azpilicueta he's the new manager. Now he's not playing anymore. Just move the man up and just let him run this club.
Bring
He's been here
Eva
for the last
back.
12 years. Just
Let
let him do
Eva
it.
do
We
it.
need Eva. We got to have
Let
Eva
Eva
too.
do it. Let Eva do it.
Yeah.
I'm so upset. Go ahead, Patrick.
What I was going to say is I really didn't think that Chelsea would actually entertain getting rid of Potter this soon. But seeing that there was a meeting, I mean, Todd's ready to splash more cash. He's going for Enzo Fernandez. We just signed.
That I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, Bedelashi or something. I don't know.
I don't know anything about him.
He's being capped by the French national team. He's played like 2 or 3 games for them. And he's played like 50 games for Monaco, I think, something like that. And he's only 21. So I mean, and it's obvious that Bowley and the board or whatnot have a long-term vision, which is really nice because Chelsea's always been a club that is win now. If you're not winning now, you got to go. And so that was one reason why I thought the Potter would be fine. But what that second half showed this week, you can't do that. You just can't. I mean,
You know how many laps that would make these boys run? You know how many suicides these boys would be running after that second half? Potter, you can be the nice guy. I would. Oh, you think you have match fixture congestion now? I swear to, I would. Dog.
Playing on the reserves. Y'all playing with the reserves this week.
No, I'm calling Sam Kerr. She's now going to start for the.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't care.
But no, seriously, I really thought that Potter was going to come in, be able to kind of make some of these things work, and I like what he's done with Zakara. crazy as a throwaway signing as it was, or loan or whatever. I think it ended up being a loan.
It's a loan. It's a loan to buy option. Yeah.
Yeah, loan to buy option. I mean, he's at least made that work. But what I liked against Bournemouth was there was organization, there was creativity. It was gone. It was gone against Nottingham Forest. It was just completely gone. And it, I think one of the announcers said, the second half was more exciting because Chelsea wasn't just sitting on the ball. That there was, because I think Chelsea had like an 80-20 possession rate in the first half. To get one goal out of 80-20, that's ridiculous. You should have 2 or 3 goals. And, I don't know if it's because what the Berhalter issue, which is they get it there and they don't know how to finish, or they don't know how to get it there. And I really thought the Potter was going to be able to build us for the long term, but it's just not going to happen. It's going to have to be somebody else. And I've been a fan of Potter because I loved his Brighton teams. I was like, man, if we could get that at Chelsea, that'd be amazing. But it's just not working. But it kind of goes back to that whole.
It's not our culture.
Right. It's not the culture, first off, but it goes back to that whole, you have a system, you run it, you got to get what you get every time. Chelsea hasn't ran that. And you get these lopsided or topsy-turvy matches where, 15 minutes they look great, and then the next 75 they look like they would be barely, staying in the Premier League.
You know what wouldn't be it again? The worst thing Todd Boehly ever done. He started out the whole thing wrong. You do not fire Thomas Tuchel. Thomas does not have these issues. Never in a PSG squad had he had the issues. Never in our club had he had those issues. He won us a Champions League. He got us into top. It didn't matter if we won or not. We were still going to be in the Champions League. That hadn't happened in 6 seasons.
I get what you're saying. But I think the one thing that really showed that Tuchel had lost the team is when the strength of what he brought, which is the defense, started to fall apart.
We lost Rudiger. You cannot replace Rudiger with Fofana, who then loses a kneecap halfway through the first game he's ever played for us. And then, that's $34 million gone, and then you're going to get mad at him for the transfer window? I'm telling you, it's the worst thing we've done in the last 10 years was firing that man. And I don't say that often about Chelsea.
See, I disagree. I think he had lost the locker room. I think that he had lost every bit of what goodwill he had built up. And the thing is Todd in the consortium or whatever really included him in a lot of things with that
I'm
takeover.
saying no to Ronaldo too, though.
I don't think that's
Is that the nail, though? Is that the nail?
That's what he got fired.
I don't think no.
There have been multiple. He has come out and said there are issues in the transfer market. That's why I was let go. Todd said it. Tuchel said it. Everyone's hinted at it. The board said it. Ronaldo was the focal point of the whole Chelsea gossip, rumor, everything in that transfer window. Because United wanted to offload him, and we didn't want to pay him the weekly wages because we were already maxed out, and financial fair play is going to come in. We can't sign a single defender, even though we know we need a whole another back 4 pretty much. 3. Because Cuckoo or Chilwell will play left or right back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go a different way on Tuchel because my thing was you saw the forms kind of dip, and it matters because I've gone through personal things when he got divorced. I think that really hurt him. And I think it's how do you focus on managing a team and all those things when, the thing that kept you steady in life is gone. And I mean, I think at that point he was in London alone. I mean, there's but so many call girls you can get to come and that it's not the same as this guy won when he won the Champions League. Like just look at the genuine happiness that kind of came from him. I mean, I feel bad that, City lost, but I mean, I've given him credit for that. Cause I mean, I think we have to play in mind that the decision-making that's there. And I mean, it just happened. I feel like that was a bit cruel. I mean, again, it's a business, so I'm not going to knock the decision on the business side, but I really think you got to say, if it is a business, who's better than him? And I don't think they hired somebody better than him.
No, not even close.
That's just it. That's on Todd. And that's why I'm mad at the new ownership. Both first moves are wrong. Every time Roman fired somebody, guess who he got? Someone just a little bit better or on par.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Cesar Azpilicueta respects Graham Potter the same way he would have listened to Thomas Tuchel? The main person who has been at our club, who has the most appearances in our club, who is the captain of our club, runs that locker room, undoubtedly, those men would die for Cesar Azpilicueta. Do you think he respects Graham Potter the same way he respected Thomas Tuchel? Or before that, Antonio Conte? Or before that, even during Cerebral? No. I believe Graham Potter came in and it was the wrong siding because of who Graham Potter was when he came to this club. He does not have the pedigree to coach this club. That's the whole problem with Frankie Lampard. Frankie Lampard was loved by the club, had no pedigree to judge or manage this club. And it's cost him game after game after game after game. And I'm sorry, you dropped 10. I'm sorry. Now you've dropped 12 out of
15.
15.
Well, I think that's why Arteta is successful at Arsenal because, I mean, he was at City when they were doing what they were doing. And he played for Wenger and he understood the pedigree. I think, and I agree with you, they rushed Frank Lampard into Chelsea because they just needed a name. And I thought that didn't make a ton of sense. But just on the Chelsea thing, I mean, I don't know who they get. I mean, who do you get?
Bring back Terry. I don't care. Run through all the legends. Anyone's better than Potter right now.
Is Terry a good manager? I don't know.
No, John Terry is a terrible person.
I'm talking about manager.
No, he's a terrible human being.
Yes, he is. But I don't know who they get because I mean at that point,
Zidane, you got to bring in somebody.
That's gonna have to be someone like that. Yeah.
You got to bring in somebody who's.
But tactically, is he better than Potter? Because I don't know if Zidane is a tactical manager. He's a personality manager. I'd liken him to Phil Jackson in basketball. He knows how to manage the personalities, but I don't know if he's going to outcoach anybody.
No, he won't.
I mean, we can't pull Ancelotti back. We've already ruined that. We've already burned all the great bridges we've ever had.
No, but
we've already fired that
guy. It's a new manager, a new board.
Jose number 3.
Jose number 3.
No,
Yo, it's the 3-peat. Yo, if Jose brings back, it's the trilogy. It's the Star Wars trilogy right now with the special one. Jose back to Chelsea. Jake, I love you. I love it.
He's so desperate. He's so desperate to get Potter out of there.
Just anyone. Do you have a pulse?
His pet rock.
Jose number 3 would be epic. Bring Tammy with you. Bring Tammy and Jose back.
Just try to recreate the 20.
So much dysfunction. So much dysfunction.
I mean, Jake sends it to me every day almost. It's a dumpster fire. This club is under a dumpster fire right now.
Y'all in Barcelona are competing with who is like in flames.
Who's the greatest legend to fall, yeah.
Who's got the most flames going on.
We're the Ronaldos of the greats right now.
I think, though, with all the moves that they have made for the scouting department, all that, I think things are going to settle down eventually for Chelsea. It's just probably not going to be until next season. I feel like that this was a throwaway season because of everything that went down. And I mean, you don't want to say that. I mean, truthfully, you don't want to say that.
Europa? We might not even be in the Europa.
I think we'll make it.
Man, the top 6 is looking hard, man. It's looking rough.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the table right now. With that win today, Brentford they leaped everybody. They're in 7th place.
Wow.
Brentford are in 7th place. Fulham is ahead of Chelsea. And so that's not to mention Newcastle United, Tottenham, Liverpool. And I was gonna jump in a little bit ago. Y'all were talking about how 3rd and 4th are miles behind 1st and 2nd. Well, I don't see anybody catching Newcastle.
No, man, they're good.
Anybody below
we'll find out tomorrow.
Herculean performance to get that draw versus Newcastle, and Newcastle missed a host of chances. Did y'all even see the highlights? It was pouring down rain. Like
Yeah, I
just
saw the.
such
Yeah, I saw.
and I guarantee that paid a part because Newcastle spurned a bunch of chances, and Leeds like the Leeds we know, like they played against Chelsea, like they showed up for this one and managed an awesome point at St. James's for Leeds, but I don't know, man. Newcastle are mean, and that's who Arsenal have next. And I
Find
mean,
out, yeah.
gratefully it's
Great
at
game.
the
It's gonna be a
Emirates.
great game.
It should be a
game.
fantastic game. It should be an absolutely amazing game.
That's a
It's going to be a barnstormer, but I'm worried about, it's some congestion up there for Champions League this season. I'm glad that Arsenal have just risen above all of that this season because it's tight. Oof.
oh,
I
yeah.
mean, United look mean at home. United are tough to beat at home.
Battle for fourth at the end of the season is gonna be pretty epic.
I'm hoping that Tottenham have just leapt off a cliff.
Yeah.
At least for y'all's sake, we're not really worried about them this season. Thankfully, that's feels so good to say that. Haven't been able to say that in who knows how long, but it looks like Conte's just driven them right off the cliff. Liverpool looked terrible, so I mean, Brentford are licking their chops right now.
Well, Brentford's
right.
also got at
It's
least a game in hand, if not 2 games in hand.
Yeah, we have a game in hand though.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we're on.
The
We
City
only
Yeah,
played
17th
16.
game.
We're only on 16.
Yeah,
yeah. Most
and
teams are
Brentford's at
16.
18.
Yeah.
They are at 18.
We're only at 16. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't. I always joke with my friends when it comes to teams I follow, whether it's Clemson or Chelsea or the Braves. There's just sometimes I don't like the team. I mean, just the makeup of the team, and I don't like the makeup of this team. It just doesn't. It doesn't have. It's not enjoyable to watch them right now. I mean,
Are we
Reece
talking
James
about-
was the talk about Chelsea. Sorry. I'd rather watch a Brentford. I'd rather watch a Brighton. I'd rather watch Newcastle. And I mean, Liverpool's the same way as Chelsea right now. Don't want to watch them. They're boring, and I maybe talent gets Chelsea across the line, but I'm not so sure it will. But I also look at it as, they can make up some points along the way and be fine. So I don't know. I just I think that battle for fourth is going to be insane.
You said it earlier. It's their very next game. This is so massive. Like anything positive against City is so.
If we take points from City, and this is so poetic. This is irony in and of itself is poetic. We might win Arsenal the league if we knock City off 3.
Not this soon. Come on.
Put you up 10.
Yeah. We've seen
10
crazy
points.
things.
Well, they got.
I don't think anyone's ever dropped 10 points this close to the break, which would be the break.
Yeah.
In the history of the Prem. You need to stop.
Well,
yeah, but this is a totally different season, though.
Yes, this is not normal. Nothing.
This isn't normal. I mean,
they have not looked.
Have
like
Arsenal
they have
even played City?
Any bit?
No, they play City on in February.
February 15th is the first.
Arsenal only had like 4 players in the World Cup, and they went out early. Thomas Partey was their main guy. Went out with 3 games under his belt.
Played for England, my friend. Scored 3 goals in an England shirt. There, buddy.
Saka is on fire because of
might want to remember that.
Just like it helped Pulisic, it helped Saka as well. He is playing better because he is in better form. He came out flying. This is the best I've seen Christian play all season. Just like Saka looked like he'd been the best I've seen him all season.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That's not a comparison. I love Christian Pulisic to death. It's not a comparison.
Oh no,
it's not.
Team Sterling would be our Saka.
Miles ahead of him, man. The composure for the first goal versus Brighton, 92 seconds into the game. I mean, they're absolutely absolutely flying right now.
I give Brighton some credit though. They fought at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. I thought that was it was interesting to know that, and it's not new. It's not new. There, you can hit Arsenal like that. That's kind of how United did it. It was kind of a 1-2 punch, and we were, kind of stunned. We've seen that a couple of times, and what was really interesting was that Willie Saliba. I think the World Cup was a hindrance for Willie Saliba. He's not been bad, but his performances have not been the same level as pre World Cup. He was totally at fault for the second goal. Just completely didn't take care of an easy ball that he could have just cleared out to the side to give the second goal versus Brighton. And so there is a little bit if you want to nitpick, but other than that, that whole first half, absolutely, completely dominant. And I think that in contrast to City and to we were saying it's an issue for Liverpool. Odegaard's on 7 goals, Saka's on 7 goals, Martinelli's on 6 goals. Xhaka has like 4. Partey has 2 goals. Eddie Nketiah now has 2 goals. Jesus had 5 goals. So like everyone in the team is scoring. Saliba
you win the
scored a
league.
goal.
That's how you
Gabriel
win the
has a
league.
couple of goals. Aaron Ramsdale has 5 goals.
That's how we won the league. That's exactly
Yep.
how you win the league.
Nobody caught that last one.
Aaron Ramsdale.
I didn't catch it. I got you.
But no, seriously, I mean, X is right. That's how you win the league because every game is not like you think about City and it's like, okay, Haaland's got to score 2 for us to win today. You know, um, for Arsenal, it's like, okay, who's going to score for us to win today? Because we know, Saka could get us one. We know that Odegaard could get us one, and that's confidence. That breeds confidence to go into
Martinelli.
every match and realize, and Martinelli, yeah,
Martinelli.
go into every match and realize we're going to pull it out because everybody has a chance to score for us. And I know this sounds stupid, but I used to play a FIFA fantasy draft thing, and when I drafted my team, it was literally so that it was based on who could actually score. So, like, I didn't take the best defender. I took David Luiz because I knew that he could hit a free kick, or I knew that he was good on headers. But my point being is the way Arsenal was built. There's no question of, are we going to be able to score? It's who's going to score today, and that's big.
Yeah.
I find it funny that City came out and City has this, like, no offense to Lewis over here. City has this air about them, and they came into the season with this air about them, like, oh, we're the best team. They're only 2 points back from Newcastle and 4 points back from United.
Right.
And I mean, I don't take it as a slight either, but you think about City from before. That's what they did. Everybody was scoring for City before Haaland got there. I just think Haaland, the Haaland toy is something that they're like, because the other thing that you got to think of is that Aguero used to get hurt all the time. So they always had to fill in somebody to score goals. And Haaland has been pretty damn solid. So you're like, well, he's going to score. And so I think
he's
other
a
guys.
Greek god. You're not going to cut his knee out. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, they tried to. Everton tried to.
Oh, yeah. Frankie G. Frankie G probably got a call from Gerard and was like, yo, you remember that hit list I had? Yo, I'll give you 10 grand. You put that man in the dirt. Like,
but I think
Ivan Toney also has a bet going. Haaland goes down in the second half.
Haaland to get injured.
But
it's a 10-1. It's a sure thing. Hit me up on it.
But I think that's why the Arsenal City game is going to be really good, because I think Pep and Arteta are going to. I think that's going to the styles will be very similar in that game, and I don't think Pep will play in that same way. I think he's going to go at them exactly how they play, which makes the game really hard to call, because you're like, well, Arsenal have goals everywhere, and the same City. I mean, Foden has goals and Mahrez has goals, but you don't look to them for the goals, and so I think that's where Arsenal's more dangerous, because you're not looking at, okay, well, we got to mark this guy out.
Yep.
You mark out De Bruyne, you mark out Haaland as much as you can, and then you say, okay, they're going to struggle with creativity and stuff like that. So I give Arsenal a lot of credit, especially since Brighton came back and challenged them towards the end, and because Brighton has also been pretty impressive when it comes to playing against, bigger teams. So I give them tons of credit, Arsenal, for their performance.
I think when it comes to the Arsenal City game, and because I've watched every City game this season, and I'm trying to puzzle out what to do, how to beat this and how to beat that. How are we going to play against this? And I think when you look at the games that they've struggled in, I think that it's the teams that won more second balls and were able to have possession and actually implement a tactical plan with the ball against City. If you don't have the ball ever against City, you're going to lose, period.
Yeah.
But very few teams have done that against City this season. And so they're a little bit like, oh, how do we, because we mentioned they looked a little bit routed, as how do, they kind of maybe don't know, or maybe are not as experienced at, against the ball as maybe some of, earlier City teams have been, because they haven't had to play against the ball much in like 5 seasons, because they just, when they get the ball, they don't give it away. But the difference is, if you looked at the Arsenal-Brighton game, Brighton had 68% of the ball over both halves. And that's not something that Arsenal does. We don't give the ball up.
No.
And so it showed that we can play against the ball for 90 minutes. We are we didn't have to for 90 minutes against Brighton, but I'm wondering, I think that's going to be where Arsenal are going to have a lot of joy, is because even, we're going to have a lot of the ball. City might have a lot of the ball too. So that's where the battle's going to be in the midfield. Who's going to be sharper and who's going to win second balls? But how are City going to handle maybe not having more of the ball than we do? Because it's at the Emirates.
Well, I think the lineup will play a huge role, because I think Pep is going to play his best team, because I think he hasn't played his best lineup either, and I think he's waiting for Arsenal. I think he really is waiting for Arsenal.
Who's the best lineup?
Well, I mean, the best lineup is to play Alvarez, Foden, and Haaland across the top, and he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't started a game that way. And across the middle, you for sure play Silva. I would play Silva, Rodri, and De Bruyne.
Silva,
yeah, I would.
Cow.
But the reason I would is because Silva's going to work in the game, and he has a different work rate. I would hold Gundogan until the end, because Gundogan knows how to finish games. So if I want to bring somebody on to finish a game, I bring him on. I don't bring Silva on, because his work rate is too late in the game to do that. You need that all for 60, 70 minutes. I would start Bernardo just to match the youth that's at Arsenal. And then, across the back, Diaz is hurt right now. I don't know if he'll be back. Laporte is also hurt. So, it's for sure Cancelo's going to play, even though he's not a great defending fullback. And Walker will for sure play. So there's no transfer to Chelsea, because Walker will start that game. And so
I would love Kyle Walker. I like Kyle Walker. I like the way he plays, fast back.
I think Pep is holding him. I think Pep is holding him because I think he doesn't want him. He wants him fresh for Champions League. There's no need to play him right now. So I get why he's not playing him.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Akanji and Ake have done well.
They have. Akanji can play fullback.
We should have never gotten rid of again. I'm not going to get on this soapbox.
But the funny thing, let's go back.
We giving y'all both. I'm good.
I agree, but let's go back on Ake, because a lot of people didn't think Ake was good. And this is not until this season. I don't mean you guys.
Jose Mourinho told this club to not get rid of 2 people.
He's losing it.
And it was defense. He said, do not get rid of Zaruma and do not get rid of Nathan Nake, because they will be your center backs. And what did we do? We shipped them both off.
And they're both playing center back somewhere else.
I'm done.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to rile him up, man. That's your fault, Jake.
I loved Kurt Zuma. I'm telling you.
Both of them at center back right now. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I thought Nathan Anake had a great game. I thought he had a great cup. I thought he had a great game.
He did.
I like Nathan Anake.
Well, I was gonna say on the Arsenal thing, you know, I'm interested to see, like Lewis said, you know, how does Pep set up the team? Because, you know, with the idea that goals come from everywhere with Arsenal, they're gonna you need an Alvarez, you need Haaland, and you need Foden, because those guys are gonna at least give you something up front to where it's not all on Haaland. Because I can see Saliba not truly marking out Haaland, but frustrating him enough to where he starts pressing. And then that's when Arsenal's going to be able to take the ball. They're going to be able to hold it. They're going to be able to, you know, that frustration's going to kind of come into play. I think that right now I would take Arsenal 2-1. I just think that they've got such a good organization right now. And, you know, the thing is, what I was going to say is like, Arsenal lost Gabriel Jesus, and everybody was like, and I know I was like, oh my gosh, what's Arsenal going to do? Well, we've seen what Arsenal do. If City were to lose Haaland, what would City do?
City be fine. They play without him before.
I think they would revert back to immediately. Lewis is what was kind of
I
wanted.
think,
I think they revert immediately back and go, okay, share the wealth.
Alvarez will stick right back in the middle, and they'll play like Aguero was there.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think I think tactically that's what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I think that would be such a huge. It's what Conte did to us.
Mm-hmm.
When we lost N'Golo Conte, it hurt our mid. We knew we were weak in the midfield. So then we go into every game going, oh no, we're kind of weak in the midfield. So every game we show up and what are we? Weak in the midfield.
Well,
I'm not worried about that.
I mean, I think you're right that they need to start Foden and Alvarez, because if you look at the Southampton, or not Southampton game, if you look at the United game, and then even against Brighton, Arsenal give goals when we are running towards our own goal. You know, we don't give goals on set pieces. We've given up two goals on corner kicks in all of 2022. You know, so we give goals when people are, you know, when Gabriel and Saliba are having to run back.
It's a breakdown.
And that's not really what City are doing this season. So, because they're trying to hit Haaland, you know, trying to get it to him in front of the goal, you know. And so I think that with Alvarez and Foden, they can get some speed down the wings and get, you know, running at our backs and give us some trouble. I definitely think they need to start.
I think the fixture thing will matter too, because I think you got the EFL Cup going, and I just think depending on how many fixtures City has in front of them, on how I think that affects how Pep does the setup too. Because I mean, he wants to win everything, but at the same time, you look at who's left in the EFL Cup. I mean, City should win it. Like they literally should win that cup, and it'll be like the City Invitational, which is fine. But you know, it's the
Audi Cup.
but you know, you look at the FA Cup, that's a little different because, and I'm being honest, as a City fan, they've never seemed to take that cup seriously since they gotten the investment.
You know who takes that cup seriously? Us and Arsenal.
That's Arsenal's cup.
That's Arsenal's cup, exactly.
That is Arsenal's
cup. That's Arsenal's cup.
And I think that matters. So, you know, I'm looking and I think, you know, I'm going to give Arsenal a ton of credit for where they are. City has early season, and many times this season they've come from behind to win games. So I'm not worried about the medal playing. And I think they get up for big games. I don't think they saw Everton as a big game, which is why they played like garbage. So that kind of is what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing Arsenal and Newcastle. I'm really excited about seeing that game. I think that's going to be a hell of a game.
There's something about, maybe it's just watching Newcastle, I think it's the urgency that Newcastle have always. Like if you watch a 90-minute game of any Newcastle game, They're just always every free kick, they're immediately taking the free kick. I'm like, you guys could have slowed down and dumped that. Nope. Let's just go ahead and go. And I think that's why, like, every time I look at the predictions, I'm like, this is gonna be a crazy game. Newcastle are gonna, but this time, because Arsenal come out of the gate flying. Like we're like a lion or a cheetah, like sprung, crunched down at the starting line. The gun goes off and it's bam, like every game, And Newcastle the same. Newcastle come out flying too. This could be. We could finally have the barnstormer. I've been calling Newcastle for. This could be a crazy game, and
This is the first of two because this is the first one.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't even want to think about going to St. James
I
because
think they'll have.
it's going to be late in the season and it's going to be hugely important.
Personally, I think
And it will probably pour down rain.
Personally, I think the momentum's in your favor though. Coming off the title leads, you killed Brighton, had a demanding control of the game.
Well, I'm not afraid.
No,
I just think it's going to be a 4-3.
I think it's going to be
that'd be awesome.
I think
it's going to be goals
0 to you guys. But
do you remember the game in the FA Cup? Arsenal played Reading, and in the 24th minute, Arsenal were down 4-0. Or it was like the 35th minute or something. Reading were up 4.
Reading Railroad costing you money, bro.
Yo, we won that game 7-5. This game has the potential to be a crazy barnstormer. Arsenal
feels like it.
We don't give 5 goals. We're not going to give up 5 goals. Okay, that's a little ridiculous. But this could be like 4-2, 4-3, 3-3, 3-2, something crazy.
I think goals are in that one. I think goals are in this one. Yeah.
I'm pumped, and I think that as far as tactically, I hope that Newcastle come at us because that'll mean they're a bit more open. I don't think I've seen Newcastle sit back. They didn't even sit back against City.
No, they didn't.
I don't think I've seen them like not full high press. So I think it's going to come down to the intricate passing in between Partey and Odegaard and Xhaka. As far as connecting with Saliba when he has a ball at his feet, or connecting with Tamayasu or whoever starts on the outside, probably Ben White if I had to guess. Being able to get past the first line, and if Arsenal get other teams, like I was saying, if we get teams running towards their own goal, it's over. It's done. Yeah. When we get behind your midfield, you're in trouble. It's just trouble because Saka's flying, Martinelli's flying, and you mentioned it, Patrick. Jesus goes down, and we didn't skip a beat.
No, everybody's like, a great game.
I'll be the first to say it. I'm like, there's no way Nketiah is gonna be able, and so far,
had a great game.
So far, so good. He's
a great game.
He's gotten the 4th goal in both of the games, or the last goal. I think the last one was the 3rd goal. But they've been hugely important for him, I think, as far as confidence, because you can even see it. He came out in the Brighton game and was playing levels. He was definitely good, and that's excellent to see. I have my doubts about consistency, which I shouldn't. I guess he's got 12 goals in 12 starts for Arsenal. It's easy to say that stat, but because they're not consecutive starts. But
crazy scores, yeah,
they are now 2 and 2. So and I don't know if he'll carry the burden. So I'm glad we're spreading the goals out. But I think this, like I say, potential to be a good game. But I'm confident.
I'm gonna just throw this out there. Credit to a London team for having patience with a manager. Because they were ready to throw Arteta away, man. They were.
Oh yeah.
Give them credit for holding out on him.
Yeah, for sure. I remember those days. I remember all of it. But we're up right now, and it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. You mentioned earlier, it's literally statistically the best season. The best start, the best first 16 games we've ever had. Even the Invincibles did not have this many points at 16 games.
Yep.
So Like the
Y'all got it.
Invincibles won 27 times and tied 11. And we've already passed halfway to that.
Yep.
So, and I'm definitely with the restart. I'm definitely really starting to believe. With a couple of the results, and it's not just. I know that it's not just results based because it's a 38 game season, but with some of the things, that I'm noticing, I think that right. I mean, statistically, obviously, it's ours to lose, but I think that come February 15th, we could really, really be well ahead.
I mean, the goal is anything above 90. Anything above 90 statistically has won the league, and you're well on track to 90.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
A question though. I have a question. So I'm looking at the Europa League because I'm like, well, Arsenal, not really bothered by that. When's their Europa League game? Because I'm looking, and because the Europa League games start on February 16th, and I don't see who Arsenal's playing.
Arsenal play.
I don't see it in the schedule at all.
I know the answer to this. Why do I not know the answer to this?
Because it's not even on Arsenal's schedule, and they won. I mean, they won their group, so I'm confused.
Yeah.
Where their fixtures?
Have they done the draw? Have they done the draw?
Because you might be looking at the you know what it is? It's because the round that's about to be played is with the
teams. Yeah.
And they're gonna do another draw.
Right, because they start on the 16th. Yeah,
they're gonna do another draw after they do the Champions League games, and then
because it's a home and away. You're right.
Then they go to knockouts, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I was like, where's that at? Because United plays Barcelona on the 16th, and I'm like, that's gonna be something just for watching it. Yeah.
I don't know much about Barcelona this season, and y'all proved it to me last pod that they're on top of the table. So I expect. And the first game, I don't have any hope. Even Barcelona, even Dumpster Fire FC, I don't have.
They did not show up at all in their Champions League, at all. And I find it so ironic. Again, y'all want to get everything.
They're just gonna.
You know what?
Because
this is the T Xavier off season, because you know what makes me upset? You want to know what really grinds my gears? All them boys going to Barcelona being like, "Oh, we want to play Champions. We want to play Champions League football. Oh, we want to play the Champions League this season. We're playing Champions League next season." Guess what, Rafinha? You're not. Guess what, DeLitt? You're not.
I thought he was at Juve.
Koundé.
Isn't that at Juve?
Don't forget Koundé.
Oh, De Jong. I'm sorry, not DeLitt.
De Jong, yeah.
But I read somewhere De Jong is interested in going to United. So I don't know. That might happen. Maybe that's the 13th lever that Barcelona has, so they can buy whoever it is they're buying.
They can continue grinding the Chelsea gears. Yeah. Just sell the players that Chelsea wanted to their rivals.
Tottenham's gonna get yeah. Okay. You're done.
You're
done. Because that would be Barcelona's ultimate
Koundé gets sold to Tottenham.
That would be because we stole that Champions League from them. They have never let us live that down.
You got nothing, man. But I give United credit because they look like a dumpster fire, and they're in fourth, man. And I look at them like, give them credit, and they're clearly going to spend money in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How about Rashford getting sapped for the first half and then coming on and just blowing it up,
logging it, playing like a dog.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous because Ten Hag. Oh, I'm this manager that I'm gonna dole out discipline. I don't care who you are. Oh, we're playing like crap. We're not gonna win. Oh, I need you. What? Yeah. Everything I just said 20 minutes ago. You should forget all that. Just come back on.
Yeah, something about him. He seems like he has imposter syndrome. I mean, I think he's a good manager, but he seems like he has imposter syndrome because he's at United.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because they were not. There's a little bit of luck about the goal. I mean, I struggle to say that they didn't deserve to beat Wolves because Wolves were awful. Because that's Wolves.
Yes, that's Wolves.
But I just. This was a bad game to watch, and
I will say that free kick by Wolves, that De Gea saved up in the upper 90 was pretty nice.
yeah, De Gea saved the points. Like,
Yeah,
for sure. And you don't.
but
When's the last time you said that?
I know. But no, I mean Rashford. We said that he was going to come back from the World Cup and just hit the ground running, and he has. He's looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, Ten Hag is he's a weird guy, man, and
Weird one, yeah.
he I feel like he can get some teeth work done.
Well, he fits right in England, so he's fine.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't think dentist is a profession in England. But man, I feel bad for Wolves. They're a one-man team, and it's Ruben Neves.
Yep. Which means somebody needs to buy him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Nottingham's the same way.
Forest are a bunch. They've got like a bunch of randoms.
Mm-hmm.
And no one to put it together. Even the coach doesn't know how. Steve Cooper reminds me of Brady X. We had this coach for our CSU team. The only way they would let us wear CSU on the shirt in the kids league was an employee of the college was the coach of the team.
Had to be affiliated with the team in some way, shape, or
And
form.
so there was only one person we knew that fit the bill, but Brady didn't know anything about soccer. We love ragging on him because I remember we were playing a team that was in a division above us, and we showed up with 18 guys, full contingent. They showed up with 8 guys.
Old guys. We're college.
At
Peak
halftime,
physical fitness. College.
At halftime, they eventually, like 40 minutes in, got 11 guys, finally. We're down 6-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
And Brady goes, you guys are playing better than I've ever seen you play. You guys are doing great. Keep it up. Keep working hard. We're doing good. We're doing so good. Like, he only had encouragement. That was his only thing.
I'm running like a 4.67, and these old men are straight dogging us.
I remember Brady said to me one time when we were playing at the only time we got to play on
CFC game.
The only time we got to play on the campus at school, on the girls' field, we were down 5-0 at halftime to the College of Charleston club team. And Brady pulls me aside and gives me one of those, man, you got to do something because nothing's happening out there. You got to do something. You got to something. And I was like, all right, Brady, you got it.
Brady.
You got it, buddy. And I went out there and I scored. And we lost 10-3. So
yeah, that's when I hit my bike.
I also missed a penalty.
I hit a bike.
Nice.
I missed
a bike in that game. Oh man! But off a
anyway,
dive, I dove at midfield, took a dive at midfield, set the ball down, told Bob to kick it, and I was like, I just tracked it, hit a bike, took my shirt off, acted like I won the cup.
But I feel like Steve Cooper has not pulled that team together at all.
No.
You were talking about the 1-1. No style.
That's why the 1-1 constitutes a sacking for me. Again, we're back on this. I will take it back every time. That's why the 1-1. You get fired. You get fired for this. I will take the job. If I go 1-1 in Nottingham Forest, fire me too, bud. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I'll step down, actually. I'll pull in Antonio Conte. White flag. I quit. You know what? I suck at this.
Dust off that resume, X. Go ahead and send that on in to...
I'm calling Roman. He's going to call Todd, who's then going to call me, and I'm going to get the job.
Send it across the pond, man. You've got experience. You coach middle school.
I coach middle. I want a cup. I got silverware. I got more silverware than Potter.
Let's send the sporting director at Chelsea the link to this pod, this episode. Be like, hey, we got a new coach for you.
Your first order.
You gotta love the passion.
Your first order of business is to bring Eva back. The talk has to end.
You gotta bring Lady Physio.
Oh yeah, she's coming back, and Petr going right back to being goalie coach because Kepa and Mindy are not gonna cut it.
Doesn't Petr work for us?
He was never
Petr
goalie
Cech
coach.
is a goalie in the hockey league somewhere in Europe right now.
What? What?
He was never goalie coach though.
No,
I thought
yes,
he was goalie coach at Arsenal for a while.
No, he's
He-
goalie coach for us.
Oh. Huh.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because he quit goalieing for the NHL league or whatever in
Are you serious? Did
Romania.
he go play hockey for a minute? No.
Yeah. Yeah, he left
real?
y'all, went and played hockey. We told him to come coach for us. He coached for us. Boyley bought the squad. He left and walked out pretty much day one. He said, I'm out.
Oh, I did not know that.
Caught a huge amount of flack for it because he was like, oh, you're abandoning the club. And he was like, nah, guys, it's not like that. And now I'm trying to see it. Now I'm
he's
starting to
not
see it.
back at Chelsea. He's not back at Chelsea.
No, not now.
He's still
No.
playing hockey.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What?
saying. He's playing hockey now. Yeah. Yeah, he
Oh.
walked out like a couple months
Oh.
ago, and now he's playing
Okay.
hockey again.
The
What?
Chelmsford Essex.
Chieftains?
The Chelmsford Chieftains are an ice hockey team in Chelmsford, Essex.
Yeah, there it is.
He
Yeah.
stayed in England.
Beautiful.
He's playing
My
hockey.
man's a goalie. My man's a goalie through and through. My man will die a goalie. He will be a goalie. He's a goalie.
But doesn't this raise the question for like when guys retire and then they go do some other sport thing because they don't want to be around their family? I really have to ask the question about that because this man went to go
Petr Cech's
play
got how many
hockey.
concussions? The only thing he knows is between two sticks. So it's like,
Oh my god.
Maybe he doesn't like his family because that's just weird.
That's wild. Yeah. I didn't know that England had a hockey league.
me
Me
neither.
either.
Me neither.
The English Ice Hockey Association.
You said it's in Essex. He's in Essex.
Yeah. That's what
That's
it
awesome.
says. That's what it
If
says.
you go to his Instagram, there's a picture of him in goalie
Yeah,
gear.
dude. Yeah, my boy's a goalie through and through.
This
What?
is
I love it.
amazing.
I'm
What?
gonna be Petr Cech for Halloween next year. I'm just gonna put the helmet on.
25 years from now, we're going to see an Olympic handball match. Petr Cech's going to be out there with
Petr Cech's playing water polo.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to hear the greatest water polo player for the Czech
Hall of
Republic of
Fame.
all time.
Straight icon.
I'm confused. I won't even pretend to you like I'm not confused. I'm
I'm
confused.
blown
What?
away right now.
I
I'm
didn't
confused.
know. Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe he should call up Ronaldo and be like, hey, man, there's life after football.
I mean,
life after.
you know, I looked at the team Ronaldo's on. There's a bunch of guys, like former guys on
Yep.
that team. Ospina's on that team, and there's a couple other guys. I'm like, hold on, I know he's there, and you know, it's not like a top quality league, but he has some players there. Even though
That man is gonna score
Rio-
500 goals
Rio
in the next
Ferdinand
20 games.
came out and defended him. He said, you know, how come guys can go to the MLS and it's still seen as a swan song, but Ronaldo goes to Saudi Arabia and he's not embraced, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, Rio, because
Oscar
Did you
and
see how much he's
Iniesta.
getting paid?
That's the
Oscar
most
and Iniesta
disrespectful
insane.
thing I've ever heard in my life. Rio
What?
Ferdinand, dude, that is so disrespectful to compare the Saudi or whatever league to the MLS.
That's what he
is so disrespectful. Are you kidding me?
That's what he did.
What? That is ridiculous.
Iniesta and Oscar
That's
went to the
ridiculous.
Chinese Super League.
Ah,
So they can
yes.
make their
Remember
money.
them?
And they made
Didn't
a
Hulk
boatload
go
of
there
money.
too?
They made their money.
Hulk
Right.
went there too, and he went there in his prime, which was
Yeah.
Oscar went there before he came to the MLS.
Did y'all see how much Ronaldo's getting paid though?
It's
200.
it's
yeah.
$6 a second.
Oh yeah.
75 million a year.
He's making more than the oil rig out in the coast right now.
They
Like,
just gave him
they just gave him an oil
a
rig.
couple of
They were
rings.
just like, you know what? That oil rig's paying for Ronaldo, so we're good.
Well, the
No,
funny thing is, he's gonna make them all that money back, though. He's
Oh yeah,
literally
the
gonna
jersey
make.
sales alone have already been.
They showed he got in one day once he joined the team that their Instagram following went from
Double.
800,000 to 6.1 million
Oh,
in a day. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're gonna make all their money back.
Well,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
the
they
most
made-
a bad
followed
investment.
human on the planet. Ronaldo
they
is the
made-
most followed human on all
on the planet.
any social media in all of history.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that. That's crazy though. That's nuts.
100%.
Yeah.
How about the story that came out that what was it? Kansas City was
Come on.
Oh my
in the
God.
running.
Yeah.
With a comparable package. Come on,
Was
man.
that on the Onion? Was that an Onion article? I love that.
They really,
It
they
was
would
a
have
real
No, I
article.
thought it was on
They had
ESPN.
It was
the club.
real.
Hey man, you play for us for 2 more years, we'll give you the club. You own it,
Is that even worth it?
No.
right?
I mean, it's better than because next season or the next season there's going to be some kind of intercontinental tournament that this Saudi Arabia team is going to get back into playing
Club
against
World
European
Cup.
teams.
Yep.
Club World Cup, yeah, it's going to be something like that.
And
that-
Ronaldo
Well, they
wins it,
said-
and the debate sparks all over again on who's the GOAT.
Well,
Let's
no, they
go.
have they
Let's
have
go.
a friendly
Yeah.
already set up. They have a friendly set up against PSG. They set that up because that team is going to play a friendly against PSG where Ronaldo and Messi will play each other. I think in March. So
Nice.
they're going to play each other. They already have a friendly setup.
How much punishment does Ronaldo want? Like how much
All of it.
like
All of it. They have to have a villain, right?
I
They
would
have
not-
to have a villain. Every story has to have a villain. They will vilify him to make Messi the god. I swear they're doing it.
is.
That's
Like,
all
it's
they've done.
over. It's over. Enough.
Hey,
Enough.
a random aside because you guys know how I feel about goats. Rest in peace, Pele.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
funny because you're
definitely.
talking about Messi and Ronaldo, and we talk about like the sort of the hyper concentration on who is the greatest of all time, but we only seem to focus on our own era. But it's funny because I made a comment when I shared it, and I said one of the goats, and then somebody's like, he is the goat, and I'm like, I don't believe in that. But it's funny because like 2 weeks ago, Messi was crowned the goat, and then Pele passed, and then all of a sudden he wasn't the goat anymore.
No, he's the king.
Which
Yeah.
well, so is the goat above a king? Because that doesn't make sense to me. Because you can have multiple kings, but you can only have one greatest
goat,
of all
yeah.
time. So I don't understand. Because I
The
mean, Haaland kind of put it best. He said everything you see people doing today, Pele did it first. And then
He
people
said-
tried to undermine and say, well, Pele didn't play against competition. And it was like, I learned in the research that they didn't let Pele leave because he wanted to go to Europe and Brazil made him stay there. So it wasn't like but some of the best players in the world were playing there. So it wasn't like he was playing against scrubs.
He
So
still scored 1,300 goals.
it's insane, man.
Like,
That's freaking insane.
It doesn't matter what league you're playing in. He scored 1,300 goals. Like, what?
Well, I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting when I think it was Neymar that said, until you, the number 10 meant nothing.
Yep.
But after you, it means everything, or something to that extent.
Mhm.
And I mean, when you have that kind of impact on a sport, and like I said, I think I said in our chat, the one thing about a legend dying is of what they represent dies a little bit too. It's not gonna kill the game of soccer by any means, but he's like the pioneer. I mean, if you truly think about it, he is the pioneer to what we love today. And I know we have the GOAT conversation in it, and I think that is more of a generational discussion every time it comes up. But when you look at what Pele did for the game of soccer, how can you not say that he is soccer?
And it's funny to add a thing because I very seldom talk about race, but a friend actually brought it to me and they said, without him, you don't have the diversity in soccer you have. And some of the best players in the world now are recognized regardless of where they're from. And I think that's super important because I never thought about it like that. Pele was clear, he was clear. He didn't have a race to me. He was clear. He's Pele.
It's Pele. Right.
Like even Messi, like, and I'm being honest, like
It's
Messi,
Messi,
I don't see him as like a race. He's Messi, and
He's an alien.
Well, they
even
transcended. It's just
Well-
that they transcended
Right.
every ceiling that they ever had, every hindrance, or you want to call it like anything that they're underprivileged about, or what socioeconomic class they come from.
none of it
They
mattered.
transcended all of
Yeah.
it. They are. It is Messi. It is Pele. It is Ronaldo, or CR7. It is.
Yeah.
They transcended it. They are an icon. They are a legend, and it's just that. It's, I don't think a lot of people attribute, religious figures to a certain like race or identity. It's just that's Thor.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
who he is. And it's just that. It's those people are because they transcended. He did to the game of soccer what Jordan really did to basketball in the United States. He made it an athletic sport because he made it to where we had to apply science to the sport to understand what was going on. And then once you apply science to the sport, you can create a Neymar, you can create a Messi, you can create a Ronaldo, because you can figure out you can create an Mbappe, because you figure out what the perfect physical specimen is to do that move over and over, to run that fast, to score that goal. You can apply the math to it.
That's a
Before
perfect
Pele, there's no
example
math.
because who are we trying to emulate as kids? That's a perfect example.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well,
But see, here's the thing. You know how the NBA has the logo, like the and it's Pete Maravich or whatever.
No, it's Jerry West.
Jerry West. Yeah.
If there was a logo for just internationals, if FIFA had a guy in the logo, that would be.
Yeah.
But because it's weird, but not to cut you off, like, because when Maradona passed, people was like, "Oh, is he the greatest?" And Pele never got bothered by that because he was friends with Maradona, so it didn't bother him. But it's just amazing because you look at, and I don't think I wouldn't use the word better, but if you're comparing them, I don't see how I would compare Maradona to Pele at all. Like, I just don't see
Maradona's
it.
the Ronaldinho of the situation. He had 4 good or 7, 8 good years. Pele had a career of good years.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you have to keep in mind is, the thing about sport in general, but soccer brings everybody together, whether it's a religion, whether it's ethnicity, countries, whatever it might be. And I think that when you talk about legends, icons, whatnot, I mean, we talk about for the badge, if Messi went to Arsenal, I would pull for Messi every time.
I would
Just because
the hatred, no.
Because I just
No,
want
you
to
wanna
see him
see it.
do well.
Yeah, you want to see it, man.
You
Yeah,
want
you
to
do.
see him do. You just want to see him do well. We talked about it during the World Cup podcast. Like deep down, the kid in us was like, "I want to see Messi win the World Cup."
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most liked photo in the world.
Yeah.
Him holding the cup.
It beat the frog, baby. It beat the frog. No, the egg.
Oh, the
It beat
egg. But I think that's the thing that you have to realize when we talk about this GOAT discussion is, what does that encompass? Does that encompass GOAT in terms of club level? Does that international level, or does it in everything? And that was where the conversation was, at a halt for Messi, because internationally he did nothing. I mean, he hadn't done anything, and now he's got the World Cup. Now, if you want to look at it compared to Pele, it's still not as good.
Here's a question for you guys, and I want to see how I'm very interested, because Patrick, you actually just kind of made me have this revelation with that line of thinking. Who is the spirit? Who's the embodiment? That's your GOAT? Like for me, who's the spirit of the sport? Who's the embodiment of the sport? Who really transcended it to be God-like in the sport? Who has the realm? Who's sitting in the heavenly 11 when they're sitting around the stadium, as the Aztecs wanted to, when they forethought it and built the stadiums and played the games of the gods.
Nice.
When there's funny. Gods sitting on the sidelines, and there's an 11 playing because they're the best of the best. Who's the emperor of games? Who's the head of the Colosseum? Who's giving the thumbs up or thumbs down at the losing team? Who's the spirit of the sport?
I think a funny thing is, I watched a video kind of going with what you're talking about. And I think the reason I would say Pele, because when people saw him, they saw him. It was a 3D real thing. I mean, we saw Messi win, but how many times have you seen, like, I've gone to a couple of, like European soccer team games, but and so to see the guys play is different because we're watching on TV. So they're not I'm gonna send you guys the video I saw. They're kind of not real,
Yeah.
They're kind of like, they're real people, but they're kind of not real. But Pele, everything we know when people talk about him, it was real. Like everything was like it because they didn't have the technology, so you had to see him play.
The fans sat next to the sideline. There are fans behind the goal.
Yeah,
can literally get, like, holding umbrellas, like can touch the player. Like, yeah.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
I think that this is because we've hit 94 minutes here. I think this is a beautiful place to kind of bring it to a close. A nice tribute to Pele, and I think my point on the matter is this: no matter who, I think at the end of the day, I'm beginning to see that Lewis is right, and the GOAT conversation is very subjective. And to your point, X, just look at not just the soccer world. Look at the entire globe coming out to say R.I.P. Pele. Look at Will Smith coming out. The president of the United States comes out and says something about Pele. I loved Tim Weah's post where he was thinking when Pele responded to Tim Weah when he scored for USA, and he reposted that. Just look at the fact, what other sports star could have that many people telling the same story? Go back and listen to Robbie Mustoe and Robbie Earl's story about meeting Pele. Go back and listen to anybody's story about where they met.
Bless you, man.
About where they met Pele. It was just like one of the coolest experiences, one of the greatest things that they've ever happened. And I think, X, you've nailed it, because Pele is the one resting back.
He's sitting back. He's the emperor of the games. Like, he's watching 11. He's watching the best 11 play because he's beyond that. He transcended the sport. He transcended the idea. When Wembley lit up in Brazilian colors, when the Eiffel Tower is painted in Brazilian colors, and Pele did that for not only his country but for the game, he transcended what the World Cup was. It was just a tournament. It was just a he brought it to that world class. We're a country in South America. You want to come up against the greats in the World War II, the World War I winners, the emperors of the world? I got you. I'm going to put 13 past you in the same tournament, and I'm going to take the cup home.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
it's just that.
He's definitely the heart and spirit of this game. Definitely the player we all love. Go ahead.
One last thing. One thing you have to remember is that he came to the U.S. in the 70s, and he played for the Cosmos. And to this day, I mean, people still talk about him playing for the Cosmos. When MLS was coming up with a team, they said they couldn't have the Cosmos because they would never have the type of players that the Cosmos had. And I think that's a tribute to Pele. But I mean, I was watching something, I don't remember what it was. It may have been an interview that he did during the TV broadcast, and the guy just stopped and he's like, I can't believe I'm talking to Pele. I mean, it just, and we again, GOAT conversation, whatever. It's above that for him. He is soccer. I mean, and I truly believe that a part of the sport itself died when he died. Not to a point that it's going to be gone by any means, but we lost somebody that probably will never have anyone at his level ever again.
Foundation of the game.
Yep. Like I said earlier, who are we all wanting to be like? Who's the first person you hear about when you play this game? It's like, I want to be Pele. I want to be
When you shoot a ball, it used to be, Kobe. When you click one and you curler, it's Pele. You're like, it's just that. It's iconic.
Well, on that note, I know he'll be eternal. I know
absolutely
be remembered forever. Hopefully this podcast will as well. I hope you enjoyed
the Ethernet of eternity.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this one. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on for all of the new episodes. Again, this has been the For the Badge podcast. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.